Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, written by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We're starting chapter 2, and we're Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Sulalita Devidasi. We're starting chapter number 2, Santana Goswami. Vande Nantadbhutaishvaryam Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nichopi yad prasadat syad Bhakti Shastra Pravartaka. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a person in the lowest status of life can find direction in transcendental devotional service to the Lord. Jai. After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, sannyasa, he traveled all over India. During this period, he went to Malda, a district in Bengal. In that area, there was a village named Ramakeli, where two government ministers of the Nawab Hussain Shah's regime lived. These two ministers, who were brothers, were named Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. Later they were renamed Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, respectively. They had a chance to meet Lord Chaitanya, and afterward they decided to retire from government service and join his Sankirtana movement. Upon making this decision, the two brothers at once took steps to leave their material engagements, and they appointed two learned brahmanas to perform certain Vedic religious rituals that would enable them to achieve complete freedom for the devotional service of Kṛṣṇa. These preliminary ritualistic functions are known as Purash Chariya. They require that 3 times a day one worship and offer respects to one's forefathers, offer oblations to a fire, and respectfully offer food to a learned brahmana. 5 items: the time, the worship, the offering of respect, the offering of oblations into the fire, and the offering of food to a brahmana constitute Purash Chariya. These and other rituals are mentioned in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa, an authoritative book of directions for Vaishnavas. Hari Bhakti Vilasa is such a... I feel like I haven't even reached the shore of Hari Bhakti Vilasa, but I've been attracted to it for a very long time. One day. After arranging for the performance of these religious rituals, the younger brother, Dabir Khas, Rupa Goswami, returned home with an immense amount of money, which he acquired during his government service. The silver and gold coins he brought back filled a large boat. After arriving home, he first divided the accumulated wealth in half and distributed one part to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Thus, for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he distributed 50% of his accumulated wealth to persons engaged in the Supreme Lord's transcendental loving service. Brahmanas are meant to understand the absolute truth, and once they understand the absolute truth and actually engage in the loving service of the Lord, they are known as Vaishnavas. Both Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are supposed to fully engage in transcendental service, and Rupa Goswami, considering their important transcendental position, gave them 50% of his wealth. The balance he again divided in half. One part he distributed to his relatives and dependent family members, and the other he kept for personal emergencies. Such distribution of personal wealth is very instructive for all who desire to be elevated in spiritual knowledge. Generally, a person bequeaths all of his accumulated wealth to his family members and then retires from family activities to make progress in spiritual knowledge. But here we find the behavior of Rupa Goswami to be exemplary. He gave 50% of his wealth for spiritual purposes. This should serve as an example for everyone. The 25% of his accumulated wealth he kept for personal emergencies, was deposited with a Bengali grocer, since in those days there were no banks. 10,000 coins were deposited for expenditures to be incurred by his elder brother, Santana Goswami. At this time, Rupa Goswami received information that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preparing to go to Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri. Rupa Goswami sent 2 messengers to get actual information of the Lord's itinerary. Itinerary also means journey. And he made his own plans to go to Mathura to meet the Lord. It appears that Rupa Goswami got permission to join Lord Chaitanya, but Sanatana Goswami did not. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami entrusted the responsibilities of his government service to his immediate assistants, and he remained at home to study Srimad Bhagavatam. He engaged 10 or 20 learned brahmanas and began an intensive study of Srimad Bhagavatam in their company. While he was thus engaged, he submitted sick leave reports to his employer, the Nawab. I just imagine 10 or 20 learned brahmanas. Imagine 10, sometimes I've been in study groups where there would be 5 Matajis, say, and it's very engaging, interactive, very the dynamics is very sweet. But imagine 10 or 20 intensive study. It must have been nectarian. While he was thus engaged, he submitted sick leave reports to his employer, the Nawab. Isn't it? This is what I like about Chaitanya Charitamrita, is that devotees, they will do anything for service of the Lord. Of course, anything in the sense that sick leave to study Srimad Bhagavatam, that's sweet, okay? But the ruler was so anxious for Sanatana Goswami's advice in government matters that one day he suddenly appeared at his house. When the Nawab entered the room where Sanatana Goswami and the Brahmanas were assembled, out of respect, they all stood up to receive him and they offered him a place to sit. "You have submitted sick reports," the Nawab told Sanatana Goswami. "But I sent my physician to see you, and he reported that you have no illness at all. Since I did not know why you are submitting sick reports and not attending to your service, I have personally come to see you. I am very much perturbed by your behavior. As you know, I am completely dependent on you and your responsible work in government. I was free to act in other matters because I was depending on you, but if you do not join me, your past devotion will be spoiled. Now, what is your intention? Please tell me." On hearing this, Sanatana Goswami replied that he was unable to work anymore, and that it would be very kind of the Nawab to appoint someone else to execute the work that had been entrusted to him. At this, the Nawab became very angry and said, "Your elder brother lives like a hunter, and if you retire from the administration, everything will be finished." It was said that the Nawab used to treat Sanatana Goswami like a younger brother. Since the Nawab was principally engaged in conquering different parts of the country and also in hunting, he depended largely on Sanatana Goswami for government administration. Thus, he pleaded with him, "If you retire from government service, how will the administration be run?" This is the cliffhanger we're going to leave today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.